Match
of the day. My name is Billy Garrett John. I am joined by Mr. Matthew Toffolo. We're going to be taking you to all the action down at Anfield today. Earl Mackie. Hey! That wasn't as awkward or as irritating as I thought it would be.
I didn't actually hear what you were saying.
I don't know if you didn't hear it. I was trying to do a Match of the Day introduction, and Matt was trying to do the theme tune.
People probably just tuned in, seeing me just going.
Well, if that isn't worth the price of admission alone, I don't know what is.
Well, I know. Why not? So, hello, welcome back to another review of Death Live. Yes, today we're going to be talking about the introduction of the new Doctor Who companion, as played by Pearl Mackie. This is going to be Bill, whoever. And we'll also talk about recent developments about Series 11 and answer some more of your questions. So, with me as ever is Billy Garrett John. Say hello, Billy.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm really hot. It's
warm.
Absolutely
it is warm.
Stifling.
Summer is coming.
Yeah, and I can't really open my window because it's too light. There's like a high street out there, and I can't really, well, not a high street, but there's buses going up and down. You hear it otherwise, so I'm going to keep it shut and slowly melt into my seat throughout the rest of this. Isn't there a Doctor Who episode where somebody melts into a seat? Oh, yeah, like the Excellent. Yeah, so at some point somebody's gonna walk in and I'll just be slumped there. They'll touch me on the head and I'll disintegrate into like a into a dust pile on the chair.
Pile of ash. Very good. So, right, how are we going to start this? So, the new Doctor Who girl.
Yeah. I filled out the consumer survey on her today.
I haven't done that yet.
That might have been fun to do that on air, but we've got to be wary about how many web pages we've got open, about and losing the signal again.
That's true. I'm glad you said that. I'm going to close this one.
Yeah.
That doesn't need to go.
Well, should we both just say like our very, very first impressions of seeing her?
Yeah. Well, I'll basically. Now I'm going to say this, and I feel really bad for saying it, and this is this is nothing against Pearl Mackie. I've seen her in interviews, and I think she's lovely. But watching that little clip, like the moment she started talking, I just thought, I don't like you.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to God that they gauge from that clip and go, oh, maybe turn it down a bit.
What's
but
really
I think
weird
for the most
is
part,
that
people liked it.
Yeah, I think the overall reaction was sort of like either oh my God or yay, because again it's that sort of split fan base mentality. But I've got to say, when I was doing the consumer survey today, as opposed to usually having really non-descriptive words, remember that conversation we had about brown, dark and exciting turds?
Yeah.
As opposed to using very non-descriptive words to talk about her, they actually had, out of these words, select the ones that you think best describe Bill. And there was like abrasive and annoying and unfunny and stuff in there. And it was like, well, they never usually put stuff like that in there, which is very peculiar.
It's like they know.
I think, do you know what? I think like that was the only word I had to describe her. Like, people would have found her funny, but that's entirely subjective. People would have found her, entertaining and lighthearted, but to me that's subjective as well. But the first word that came to mind was abrasive, and it's the only word I've really been able to use when I talk to people about her to describe her.
Yeah, I agree. She reminded me immediately. It's like, oh god, we're gonna have like another Donna, one of those sorts, which I think worked fine for Donna. But it's like, oh, I don't know. After having Jenna Coleman, who I know people don't like Clara. I personally liked her a lot. I thought she was probably one of the better ones that we've had. Maybe not so much last year. Maybe when it started to become the Clara show, then perhaps not.
Literally, her face was in the opening credits.
Yeah. But Series 7 and stuff, where I really liked her, and then sort of to go to this like, taking the piss out of the Daleks, like, where's the plungers? Where's it? I'm just like, oh no, please, not again. Why? And it's not just on TV, because Big Finish did it. They created a character for the Sixth Doctor. I don't know if you've listened to any.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Oh, shit. Yeah, she was like Rose 2.0. I've only listened to her in a I think she's in a Dalek story.
Yeah, Curse of Davros.
Curse of Davros, that's the one. Yeah, I forgot. Flip.
That's it. Flip Jackson, something like that. Yeah, so it was like that kind of companion. Yeah, and it just didn't sit well with me at all. I think the whole thing was very mishandled. The whole announcing the companion. I think it was very strange. I mean, the thing is, you want a big event like that for the... Well, I mean, actually, I don't think you do need a big event like that to announce the Doctor. But if you're going to do it for anyone, you'll do it for the Doctor. But when you're casting the companion and you're going to go, right, we're going to put on primetime TV, we're going to cut away from the football, which all Doctor Who fans watch. We're going to cut away from the football and then go to an announcement of the new Doctor Who girl. You think, well, if it's going to be that big, it's going to be a known actress.
That's what I thought. My mum was convinced that it was going to be Michelle Keegan, because it's like all the football dads are going to be like, whoa, look at a bit of that. And but the thing is, it's like the issue with that announcement, as it was and how it worked, was that it didn't favour the football fans, because they're missing out on 90 minutes of punditry between the halves. Yeah. And it didn't work for the Doctor Who fans, because they weren't watching either side of the match anyway. Like they weren't watching. Well, I mean, that's a sweeping judgment on every Doctor Who fan, but chances are the majority of people who were Doctor Who fans who watched that match or tuned in for that were only waiting for what was ever going to... I half expected them to do some awful, TARDIS materialization in the middle of the ground. What I was really hoping for was that not because they were booing Peter, but I just really hoped that they'd bring the companion out in front of the screaming crowd at Wembley, and they just get booed like really heavily. Like I was really hoping that they wouldn't do something that stupid, would they?
No.
I didn't actually tune into the live thing on my YouTube channel. Shameless plug. There's a video that I put up of me with my cousin Max, and it was like, oh well, we just found out the new companion is about to be announced, and we were waiting for a web page to load, and because the internet's so bad in his room, it was like like slowly sync. Okay, that looks like a corridor. I can see the top of Capaldi's bouffant moving down. And it was like, oh right, I've got no idea who she is. Pearl Mackie, okay, great. And then I watched the trailer like an hour and a half later. But I didn't see the reaction. Maybe it was because I wasn't sort of caught up in the whole the new companion. And I wasn't excited by it. It was just like, oh, it's happening on Saturday. Right, okay. Like even you seem to be posting about it and stuff on Facebook and stuff and Twitter. I was like, I really don't care. Like it's the first time I've not cared about anything like that.
I mean, when I heard that it was going to happen, I thought this is daft, putting it on with the football. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't particularly interested. And then when I watched it, I thought, wow, everyone just jump on the bandwagon. Everyone's talking about it. I'll just stick my 2 penny worth in. I'm sure everyone will moan at me for saying that I don't like her. But I never actually turned around and said I don't like her. Yeah. And I don't want to say, but I don't like her because this is a minute worth of footage, or however long it was, 2 minutes, and this isn't even from an episode. This is just something that they cooked up just to introduce her, which I think is weird. I think it's a really odd way of doing things. I don't know why they just didn't go, oh, by the way, here's a press release, so-and-so is going to be the new Doctor Who companion, and you'll see her for the first time next year, or whatever, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's very odd because, Jenna Coleman was more well-known because she was an Emmerdale, but she didn't get anything. She was just, oh, this is the new Doctor Who companion.
I think that was before they thought they could get away with doing stuff like this, though. In the last couple of years, they've tried to become, even more mainstream, almost in sort of a desperate attempt, we are still relevant, guys, come on, tune in, we're still, everything's still going fine. And I think that the fact they tried that hard to put it on at that time just made, fans just go, who is this show for? I mean, I really need to do a video on that at some point in the future. We need to work on something like that, because I'm not sure who they're trying to capture the attention of anymore.
Yeah, I think the BBC don't really know who Doctor Who is for anymore, because it's not. It's not really for kids, but yeah, they put so much in now just for the benefit of kids and to make the money, because they know that kids are going to want the new toys and all that kind of thing. Well, I say the new toys, the new sonic screwdriver. But like you said, the football fans aren't really going to be interested. Gary Lineker, cut back to his face, he was just like, yeah. So you might see Doctor and some Daleks next time. Anyway, back to the football.
It was such a cheap setup as well. Like, one length of corridor, and something that was really weird is that obviously it looked really rushed, the way they cut it together and the way it was shot. That nothing in the script really corresponded to like what was going on screen. Like, it probably just said corridor with some Daleks, and she says something about, I will never get through that door. It's fat. It's like it's a massive corridor. Like there was no doorway. Like it was a huge archway, like in normal Dalek cities. One would assume they're on a Dalek spaceship or they're on Skaro.
Yeah. And
you can't imagine the Daleks getting the fabricators or the workers in going, our dome lights don't go through. Like you have to. Cowboy Skaro builders. Like, this is ridiculous. I can't imagine the Daleks being that stupid. And the way they spoke about it. Go on, sorry.
Maybe they went back in time to, like, old Skaro, and now the big ones just can't get through.
Yeah, can't get through. That would be hilarious. I love that. Their invasion attempt would be stopped to, like, instantly. They'd be all right going to the Cushing Dalek city. But anywhere else, they'd be screwed. Yeah, I just thought for some reason like they'd have to adapt it like for wheelchair access. It's like the Dalek would have to get like stuff. Like, can you bring that console up a little bit, because my plunger won't go down that low because we've got these massive fenders now. It was really bizarre, and it just sort of highlighted. It was a distillment of all the things that really wind at least me up about the show nowadays. Like the way they spoke down to like their main villains. It's like, I hate
it's really
that
bad
stuff.
Because like back in 2005, and I think I saw a few people comment on this, how back in 2005 they brought the Daleks back. Obviously, kids didn't even know what Daleks were, or the majority didn't, and they made them a credible threat. The plunger thing, that became a weapon. It killed someone, and therefore that was now, actually, it's not something to joke about. The Dalek electrocutes all those people.
I actually hadn't considered that about the plunger. I completely forgot it was a weapon, so that script is completely negated by that fact.
Yeah, and then Russell did it again in the Series 2 finale, when the Cult of Skaro put their plungers around that guy's head and like suck the information out of him until he's a husk. And then all of a sudden you've got this girl going, well, she's got a plunger. Well, this one got a plunger and one got an egg whisk, or whatever she said, and it's just like, oh no, why this? And this is, it's like, it's got to the point now where they're like, we know that it looks shit, so we're not going to hide it.
That's absolutely what it is.
But I think that the audience, even though they know it looks shit, they're not on the same level as we want the program to tell us this. And that's part of the charm of Doctor Who, is that Doctor Who has always looked a bit crap, but what sells it is the reactions of the actor and the scripts, and that's what people like about it, because it's so ridiculously camp, because people are sitting there, like your average Joe is sitting there thinking, this is so ludicrous, but they're going for it, and that's what's nice, because I guess that's a very British way of doing things.
I seriously, like that analogy of, the audience know it's camp, the audience know it's silly, but they need to be invested in it. That is like that is professional wrestling. Like, if you've got a huge bloke and you want to make him look threatening, and you want to make the audience scared of him and think of him as a credible threat. Oh God, he's going to beat the good guy. you don't book him to come to the ring in a tutu or put a wig on him. You know,
no, of course.
like you book him to mow guys down and, you know, never lose a match. He just goes in there, you know, does a 10-second match, knocks it, he's out. And it's like, whoa, when the confrontation finally happens between the Doctor and the Daleks, this is going to be a very scary situation. It's so counterproductive, because not only does your villain feel inconsequential and shit, like everything that's happened before and everything you subsequently do, you have to do such a lot of hard work to try and make that a credible threat again. And I think a lot of the thing I'm really worried about with Chris Chibnall's reign is how much of that is going to be damage control, and how much of that is going to be going back and trying to rectify and fix things that Moffat broke. It's like going into a sandpit. I think I've heard somebody use the analogy, and somebody's just gone in and wrecked it, and you're like, well, what have I got to play with then? I haven't got many things to help me out with.
Yeah, I mean, Chibnall has got such a hard job on to come and try and, like you said, fix everything. You know, fix the Daleks, fix the Cybermen. I mean, any of the old monsters that really need sorting out. I mean,
and
there's a lot of things
new
that need
ones.
fixing.
Jesus.
Yeah. Ones that are good. You know, ones that you actually watch and think, actually, that's a decent monster.
I've got to say,
I
was just going to say, at least that's the Daleks' one contractual appearance a year, like, sort it out, you know.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to see regarding monsters is I want monsters that are monsters. I don't want to have these stories where a monster then turns out, actually, it's not really a monster. It's actually very nice, and it's misunderstood. You know, there's been a lot of that lately.
Like Hyde, you really hated that, didn't you?
Hyde, and you know, they did it again in Time Heist, didn't they? That was the whole. But
that was a carbon copy of that ending of Hyde.
I know, and it's just like, right, can we just have a monster that is just bad, you know? And like even the Daleks, I mean, although they're bad, but they're portrayed in such a crap way and not done justice that, you know, it's just sort of like, oh, Daleks, well, we all know this is going to end. You know,
I was having a conversation on Twitter with Gareth Roberts, and we were talking about we were talking about
rubbing shoulders with the right people.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm getting in there. Not in that way. We were talking about the Sontarans. And you know, I said like they're not credible as a threat anymore. Like they're just a joke. They're just funny potato men because of Strax. Basically, it's all Strax's fault. Yeah. And he said something like, "Oh yeah, but they were always stupid, and they were always supposed to like sort of take the mick out of them." And I said, "Well, yeah, in a sort of they take themselves way too seriously way, but not in a would you like some of my breast milk? Not in that sort of you know, way. Like that. Like just think about Lynx saying that.
I was going to say, Lynx is so far away from Strax. Yeah. It's insane.
And so I said my fantasy booking for the Sontarans would be to, I think I've probably said this to you before, just to make them credible again, is do like a story where they invade Victorian London, because I think that would look cool anyway. Like Sontarans, like, storming Vauxhall Bridge and, like attacking horses and carriages and stuff like that. It looks so cool. And basically in the pre-credit sequence, you see the Doctor and his companion and Vastra and Jenny and Strax all having tea or whatever, and then these doors just get blasted open, and this Sontaran shock troop just stride in, say, Strax, you're a default blast, you're a twat meat, blast him to bits. Everyone goes, oh my god. Straight into the title sequence, and then you've got the Sontaran invasion of Earth of Victorian England. Like that would be so like that. That's the only way. You have to make such sweeping statements like that. That's the only way you can fix stuff like that.
I think I just want a story where the pre-title sequence is just that, and then they go home.
Yeah.
And they go, that's what we want. Bye.
Never mind.
See you next time when we actually come for a proper invasion. But bye. Right, okay, that's that sorted. I think that's what we need. The opening for the Series 11 just needs to be a massive pre-title sequence of just all the shit things being fixed. It's like, something happens with some Cybermen, and it's like, fuck, they're good. And like the Daleks come along, and they're like, it killed 1 million people. Amazing.
Or something even more like tense than that could be, Strax says, oh, Doctor, I'm in trouble. my old platoon is out looking for me because I bring, disgrace upon the Sontaran Empire, and then like the Sontarans are chasing them through time and space, and eventually they catch up with them, and it's like, well, you can't defeat the Sontarans, and then bang, dead. And then part 2 could be like, avenging Strax or whatever. I mean, I don't know how you fix the Daleks. I don't know what you do with them, because everything you could do with the Daleks has sort of been done.
It's hard, isn't it? It's very hard to do anything with the Daleks that hasn't already been done.
I'm sure you find that writing stuff.
Oh Christ, it's so hard writing Daleks. It's hard with like all of them, like Daleks and so many. Sort of think, right, what can you do to make it a bit different? But yeah, it's tricky. I mean, I think the only thing that they can really do with the Daleks now is, I guess, just give. I mean, I guess they have to have the whole contractual year. When appearance every year, but I mean, I would like to see next series, and maybe even series 11, no Daleks at all, and then come back with a really strong story, which is just, I think what we need is just a sort of a quite a basic, bare bones Dalek story.
Yeah, we almost had it with Into the Dalek. Like, like seeing those Daleks blast through that bulkhead was like, oh, thank God they're actually doing something cool for once.
I mean, you think about Victory of the Daleks. The Daleks, what do? They stand around in a spaceship talking about jammy dodgers.
Yeah, and that was the last time until Into the Dalek that we saw the Daleks kill anybody on screen.
Insane.
How does that work? How like a monster, a creature built around genocide?
Yeah.
And they got over, in the Series 9 opener, they got over the whole thing where it's like, their guns are twitching and they're like, oh, I really want to kill you. Oh, God.
Yeah.
And it's the emotion that makes them go, I really, really, really want to kill you right now. I love that idea that they just like really sort of nervy, sort of twitchy tanks.
Yeah.
That just like constantly like, well, okay, right. I've got my laser like charged constantly. If you come near me, I'll do it for the crack, mate. Like they didn't kill anyone for 4 years. That's just unbelievable.
And yet you get a scene in Destiny of the Daleks, which, all right, that's not the best Dalek story in the world by any means, but they like killed 6 or 7 people. Right, you step forward, boom, dead. I mean, all right, it's not really sold very well by the terrible extras, but as a concept, you sort of think, oh, they didn't give a shit. But you just don't get that anymore. You really don't get anything like that, and it's like, oh.
Unbelievable.
Such a shame. Yeah.
But anyway, Pearl Mackie.
Yeah. So what do we think? So she's got sort of 80s clothing on.
I got a message. I got a message on Twitter from Ewan, who did that really cool fan art of us.
Oh yes, that was excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. He tweeted me and said, "Do you think she's from the 80s?" And I was like, "Is she?" I hadn't really considered that. But to be honest, like, I know Ace used to speak like that, or whatever. That's a really over caricature of Ace. But I sort of feel like that she doesn't sound like she's from that time period to me. Just with the language she was using and stuff like that. And I think she's from the modern day. Like,
you reckon? Do you reckon it's just her fashion? I mean, I guess a lot of fashion these days. Exactly. It is like an amalgamation of different things,
Absolutely. It's not. And did you know about her T-shirt, which is really weird?
Oh, that was just a coincidence, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Prince T-shirt.
She was wearing a Prince T-shirt, and he died the day before. Obviously, shot like weeks or months before.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Very weird. Doctor Who predicted it.
Absolutely.
Speaking of T-shirts, I've got Yetis on my chest.
You have got Yetis. Can you stop doing that like you're rubbing your nipples? That's really, really irritating.
I'm not rubbing my nipples. I'm rubbing my Yetis.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah. Bring the Yetis back. That's a monster that needs to come back. We have 2 stories with a great intelligence, and what did we get? Fucking spoonheads. What's a spoonhead?
Did we?
One spoonhead, one Yeti.
Was there a Yeti at the Doctor Who experience? We went on the set tour day.
Yes, the Weatherfield one. Yeah, because it had been at the celebration, hadn't it?
I can't remember if I just pretended it was there, or
no? You didn't imagine it. It was there.
Yeah. And I've sent you that photo, and for other people that are interested about anything happening to the experience, they're bringing in loads of new classic monsters, including no, shit. Wait.
I know what it is, but I'll leave it for you to get there. You're on the right lines. Into T.
Tet Trap. Yeah.
Yeah,
there's at least a Tet Trap there, and they're working, or they already put the restored classic Davros.
Yeah, that's already there.
That's already
both
there.
of them. They've got the Resurrection Davros, and they've got Remembrance Davros, but with the dome down so you can see his face.
Okay, cool. Right. Yeah. But anyway, so that's going to be happening soon, which is fun.
Yeah. Cool.
Right. Well, that's sort of Asbill done then, isn't it? Really. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Talk about Asbill, right? Because again,
I realised why it was Asbilly on the Asbilly Gets On Twitter. Yeah. Because Kat said to me, she's like, I can't find him on Twitter because he's put this like as something. I was like, yeah, what's that about? It just didn't twig. But I did, when I watched it live, I did think, that looks weird, that doesn't look right. And then everyone was putting it on there and they're like, where was the space? And I was like, oh yeah, that's why it looked weird.
Again, I think that just plays into the whole, we'll just, put it out.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it's like you said about before, the Twitter, the Twitter account, which is just like posting bollocks. Yeah. I think you posted it in your video that you posted yesterday. What is Doctor Who?
Oh yeah.
And you made the point about how, like, you know, the fan show are posting stuff like, oh, you know, this happened 20 years ago today, and, you know, Doctor Who magazine's got this coming out, and blah, blah, blah. And then the official channel is just going, oh yeah, we'll retweet that, but we'll actually just tweet out a GIF of River Song doing something, or a GIF of Amy going.
I think it's the whole disconnected thing across the whole show, but like specifically with the Asbill thing, it's just like the opening credits. Like, why are they out of time? Why? And I know you didn't really notice it, but it's like I want to sit in on an edit and go, what possible excuse do you have as the biggest broadcaster in the land for your biggest property besides what possible excuse is there that you mistimed the opening title sequence?
I mean, you'd think they'd have a template.
I know.
For stuff at work. You know, we've been like, right, okay, so we've got a title sequence of this thing, we'll save it as a template, and then when we come to do the edits, you just whack it in and get on with it, and just change the text. Why aren't they doing that? They must be rebuilding it every time they do an edit. They must be going,
the credits, the actual title, it's like, sometimes the title's in full caps, sometimes it's bold, sometimes it appears at the wrong time, sometimes it's like, the text is the wrong size. It's really, really bizarre, really weird. Really
it reminds me of like classic Doctor Who when it was like, right, you know, when we broadcast it, we play the titles in or whatever, you know, however it used to work.
Yeah.
And and it was all over the place, and you know, some days it looked really good and clear. I think it's on one of the Colin Baker DVDs. They do a whole display of like, right, so 1 week, Revelation of the Daleks Part 1 looked like this, but week 2 it looked really terrible. But Attack of the Cybermen looked amazing, but Part 2 looked horrendous, and it was like missing part of the bottom, and you know, it's all over the place.
Weird.
Like,
what DVD
still
is that
like
on?
This? I don't know. It's definitely Colin Baker.
That sounds like a feature that I want to watch. That sounds pretty great.
But yeah, it's up your alley. I'm trying to think which one it is. I'm sure. And I think they talked to Sid Sutton about it, because he sort of says about, if you watched the original master tape, it looked amazing. He said, but then you saw it go out on TV, and at times it just looked really fuzzy, and the colours were all off. And it's just like, how does that happen? And like, how does that happen today?
Today.
Why is it happening now? What? It's mad.
Yeah.
It's insane.
But yeah, so that was Asbill's reveal. And I suppose the only other thing to talk about besides taking questions from you guys on Facebook would be Chibnall's writer's room thing.
Yeah, so this was, I guess it was announced by Radio Times, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Radio Times? Yeah. But it's only a rumour at the moment, but the rumour is that Chris Chibnall is looking to adopt a US-style writer's room for Doctor Who, which I think, given the way things have been under Stephen Moffat's run, is definitely needed. Because I think you can see it quite a lot that Stephen Moffat had a very clear idea of what he wanted to do, and I think at times he needed some other writers to say, actually, that's not a very good idea. And I think you can really sort of see where stories have been, rewritten or tweaked to fit his vision of the show, and I think at times that was quite detrimental to the program.
I have to say though, this has literally just crossed my mind. Have you ever seen? That was somebody else. I think that's like Henry. He lives downstairs. Don't worry, nothing's happening.
People have been murdered.
No, I don't think so. Anyway,
Damn, I'm screaming.
Shut up. And turn your phone off. It was. Basically, have you ever seen any of those like videos of like I used to watch them all the time because I was really interested in TV, obviously, when I was younger. On like some American like comedy DVDs, not that I buy any because most of them, like Friends, are poo. You see those clips where they're sat there having a read through or whatever, and then you've got like all the talent sat around the table, and then you've got blokes in suits leaning against the wall going, ha, 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 ha.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that was fantastic. Stuff like that. And the worry I have is how many of those suited yes men were stood around Stephen's desk when he was writing, and I worry that having a writer's room will just accentuate the sort of, that's fine, great idea, Chris. You wrote Broadchurch or whatever. Like, it sounds fantastic, mate. Let's just go with that. Just go with that. You don't need to look at it again. Don't need to script edit it, mate. Just bring us the money. We're not that bothered. Just put something out. I wonder if that writer's room might accentuate.
Oh dear, I hadn't thought of it like that.
That literally is my mind. I'm a bit worried now.
Oh shit! Oh my God, it could get worse. Oh no! I mean, I was sort of really hoping.
My first thought was, oh my God, like the creativity, like
a hive mind of talent, like a big think tank of like.
I was thinking,
Doctor Who fans and
if you just got Doctor Who fans in a room, if you got 10 Doctor Who fans in a room, of like people on the online Doctor Who community or whatever, you put us in a room, and you said, right, you've got an hour or 2 hours, just come up with a Doctor Who story. I guarantee all of us by committee, we'd come up with probably the greatest Doctor Who story ever made. 10 Doctor Who fans in a room would come up with the greatest Doctor Who story ever. And I just thought, oh man, that's so cool. Like, if there are real fans there, or even if not fans, just like good creative writers that can bounce ideas off each other. I just like the idea that, them going, well, how about we do that? I said, well, did they do that in a story before? Yeah, they did it in this story. Okay, well, we can reference that, or we can bring back that monster. Yeah, that's a great idea. Oh, how can we make that idea better? And there's like 10 people in a room going, how about we add this? Or how about we add that? Do we have the budget for this? Well, we might not have the budget for this, but we have it for that. Like, that is a really exciting prospect.
Yeah, definitely. I think if it goes that way, then we're okay. But if it goes the Suits way, like I said, it's just like everything is a slap on the back. But I mean, perhaps that's why the writers' room thing is coming about in the first place. Maybe the BBC are like, oh, maybe we become, we're yes men. We've reached that stage where you sort of made the remark about, oh, you wrote Broadchurch, so everything's going to be, it was fine.
I think that's what happened with Stephen with Sherlock. It was like, mate, you're making enough money for us with that. Like, you do whatever you want to that show. We don't really care. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever you do is going to be gold.
Yeah.
Where actually, that isn't always the case. So I mean, I hope it works out for the best. I mean, I'd love for them to bring in some Big Finish writers, because I think that would be quite good.
I think it's a given that people like Nick Briggs and people like that will just be around the offices anyway, and they'll be called in like, how do we get out of this mess? Well, there was this Doctor Who episode written like 40 years ago which had this in it. It was like, whoa, that's great, let's put that in.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Yeah. It's a shame because there's so many people out there who are already writing for Doctor Who, but not the TV series, who are doing such a good bloody job, and you sort of think, why is there this disconnect? Why is there this stigma within the BBC, whereas oh, well, you can't write for the TV series because you're just audio play writers, and that's just audio books. Even though 9 times out of 10, those stories are a hell of a lot better than the stories that we've been getting on TV.
Absolutely.
And it's like, what's going on? I mean, I've been listening to the Eighth Doctor and Lucy Miller stories again, and I've just been sat there thinking, this is the perfect blend of Doctor Who with a bit of modern drama in it, you know, because that's what they want. They want it to be a bit more modern. Well, fair enough. Just do what they're doing or what they were doing. You know, that worked. It was perfect. It's like, why can you not just follow that? It's really weird. I don't get it.
Really
bizarre. I don't know if they just. Yeah, I don't know if it's just because of like, oh, the modern audience, you know, people who aren't Doctor Who fans aren't going to like that. But I can't see why that would be the case. I don't understand. You know, it's not like they've ever tried it. It's not like they've ever sat down and gone, right, we'll make quite a traditional Doctor Who story and, you know, just see how it goes. You know, I think they always try and be like, well, let's put a twist in it or something, or, you know, I don't know.
Well,
my brain's
I suppose
going.
time will tell, really. I mean, I put something out on my Twitter the other day, and it, you know, when the realization really hit me, and I was like, shit, we have to wait 2 years for Chris Chibnall's first series, even though they're probably going to be shooting it next year. It's like, oh my god, like what can we do about this? And with that 2 year gap until the show goes on, makes me think that there's no way, in my mind now, there's no way that Peter's going to hang around for that, considering that like the guy who brought him onto the show is now leaving, and that would be his 3-4 years up on the show.
Yeah, it's insane that it's going to be that long. That I mean, but I'll be honest. Actually, I've been thinking about this the other day about how actually I don't really feel like I missed Doctor Who being on TV.
Nope.
Do you know what I mean?
Nope.
You know, I haven't had this like, oh my god, I can't believe that they're going to have to go for a whole year without Doctor Who. You know, I listen to a Big Finish play every single day, practically.
Mm-hmm.
When I get the bus to work, I listen to an episode, and then when I come home, I listen to an episode. Or if it's an hour-long one, I'll listen to half in the morning, half in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be honest, I haven't really felt like, oh, there's a massive Doctor Who gap in my life.
Nope.
Because, you know, if I want to watch Doctor Who, I just stick it in the DVD player, or if I want to listen to Doctor Who,
mm-hmm.
plug it in my ears. You know, I don't feel like, oh, you know, my life's over because there's no Doctor Who on. I'll be honest,
a lot of people panicking online will be the fans going, oh my god, no Doctor Who for a year, what am I going to do? Well, in that 2 years time, you know, those like fangirls will probably have grown up and moved on to something like Game of Thrones anyway, and it's not like they know that you can get a hold of the DVDs or they even know what Big Finish is. Like, this should be the year where the BBC go, so there's no Doctor Who on TV this year, but we can still make a shit ton of money if we push, Big Finish exists. Like, why don't they do that? It's like the easiest thing to put out. You know, Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor, who recently featured in that online thing, you know, he was the Doctor years ago. People won't remember that. Who cares? He's in a new series of audio dramas, and, you know, you've got this to tide you through to next year. Like, why aren't they doing stuff like that? It's not like it's only going to make them more money.
And especially with, like, David Tennant and Catherine Tate doing it, you know, that's, like, the ideal time, like, holy shit, guess what, guys? You know, I'm surprised. Sorry, Carol.
Yeah, no, you went first. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'm surprised that BBC 7 didn't jump in and go, oi, can we broadcast those on our radio station first, like we did with the Paul McGann things, you know? So it's just baffling. And, you know, they could have had Tennant and Catherine Tate on the one show and, you know, all these things, be like, oh, you know, you're coming back to Doctor Who. Yeah, we're doing Doctor Who again. It's slightly different because we're not on TV, but, you know, we're doing it. That would have just been mad. I mean, I've seen so many reviews, like, on the internet from like the Metro and all these places are like, who don't really review Doctor Who properly. They're like, they're talking about these audio plays. It's like, oh my god, they're talking about Big Finish. That's insane.
It was nuts. And like the reveal video on the Big Finish page got like 250,000 views. I was like, oh, insane. You know, great. Like, you've got 5 million fans on Facebook. How is that not getting 1 million views? That video. And the other video where they actually talk about the episodes has got like 2,000 views.
Really?
I think it's something as low as that. I'll have to double check, but it is something like, you know, like 4,000 views or something ridiculous like that.
Jeez, that's bad. Pretty hell.
Let me have a check.
Our videos get more views.
I know.
And we didn't have
my videos get more views. Jesus Christ. You know. Yeah, so like the 10th Doctor Adventures Limited Edition set where the Alon Z came up at the end.
Oh, no,
that's got 6,000 views.
Yeah.
And the second interview they put up has got 6,000 views, whereas the graphical advert for the War Doctor Infernal Devices has got 13,000 views.
Wow.
Like,
what?
Jesus Christ, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And the only the monstrous War Doctor trailer has got more views than the Diary of River Song.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow, that's insane. I'm really surprised because I'd have thought that it'd be stuff like that would just be insane views.
Yeah.
That is mad.
And what's really depressing is when you scroll down and you look at the fact that all through series whatever it was, series 10 or series 9. What was the last? Series 9 was the last series. They're just pimping out. Oh, Doctor Who's on TV tonight. Don't do that. They don't afford you the same right. They don't put out. Oh, by the way, guys, there's a new,
Big Finish audio.
Out. It's like you're going to get millions of views anyway. We don't need to put unless the BBC are like, guys, we're not sure if we're going to top 4 million for this opening episode. Could you put something out on the Big Finish page?
That's a bit dodgy if that's the case. Jesus Christ.
Maybe.
Oh,
okay, well, I think it's time we take it to the wonderful viewers and we go on to the good old Facebook page, the Batman March Facebook page, and we look through some of the questions. I did see one here from Dave Burgess, the awesome Dave Burgess, and he wrote, which I think was really interesting, do you think the Doctor Who will undergo a rebranding for Series 11 with Chibnall, or maybe even Series 10? I guess a rebranding would constitute a new logo, design, theme, title sequence, maybe a new TARDIS console room, etc. Honestly, like when we went to the TARDIS set, I can't see them getting rid of that for like another 10 years or something.
Yeah, I think what they'll probably do, I think they'll keep it for Series 10, the theme music that we've got now.
Or they'll do like for Matt Smith's last series, they'll just do like a really rushed, cheap piece of shit just for that one series.
I hope not. I hope for this they just keep the theme and the title sequence that they've got now.
I must be the only person that likes that Smith title sequence.
No, I like it. I like that Matt Smith one. Yeah, and I like the music. I was listening to it the other day, actually. I was listening to it, and I was like, there's actually something quite eerie about it.
I like the one that they used in The Snowmen with the descending note, and then they got rid of it for the actual series.
Yeah, and also for The Snowmen, they didn't have the choral singers, singing stuff. And did they have the da 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 da? Was that in there?
Yeah.
I hate that. I'm glad they got rid of that. Because whenever I hear that, I think that's not the Doctor Who theme. That's a different theme. Fuck off. That's what
Absolutely.
I think. That's literally what I think. I was like, get out of my theme tune. You shouldn't be there. Go back to whatever program you come from.
Absolutely. I think they'll probably redesign. I mean, they've been posting a lot of stuff that graphic artist John Smith's been putting up on Facebook. I really hope they'd get him in to do something because his stuff's awesome.
I think what will probably happen is I imagine Murray Gold will stay on next year. I personally, what I would like to see is with Series 11, Chris Chibnall comes along. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with Asbill or with Capaldi. I mean, I can't really comment on Asbill whether or not I like her or not to say, but Capaldi I want to carry on for as long as he possibly can. So I mean, I hope they keep
for as long as his knees keep up.
For as long as his knees keep up. Yeah, I had a go at that the other day. You know how you said about running down corridors and twisting on the spot?
And then turning really fast, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it can't be that bad. And then I was in the front room. I got up early one morning. It was just one of those mornings where you're just like, not got anything to do. I know.
I don't all the things. It's like usually people go out for a walk, make some tea.
No, I don't.
You thought I'll run down a corridor and turn on the spot.
Yeah, well, not even a corridor. I ran from the door to like the other wall, and I swam around. I thought, oh, you know, that I can imagine that getting quite wearing on the knees after a while.
I think
give it a try.
You should do that every morning now and give us a report on the next stream. My knees are knackered now. There's a question here. I don't get the reference because I don't watch Yogs. I do occasionally tune into your Dungeons and Dragons stream just to see your face sometimes. Look, it's him.
It's him. There he is.
There is a question here about that. How do you feel? I don't understand what this means. You might. How do you feel about most of Kim's fans getting quite flux you when you appeared on her videos?
Well, flux is a thing from Kim's videos. Flux is like this purple goo stuff. I don't really know the ins and outs of it.
Right.
I don't quite know. Let me try and read the question.
That was literally what it said. I tried to make it.
That is it. Really?
That's literally it.
Oh shit! Where is it? Oh no, this isn't the Facebook page. What's this? Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. I'm afraid.
I don't understand.
Okay, I don't understand. I'll try and find the comment and see if...
Okay, well, while you're finding that, let's find another one. Oh, this is interesting. Do you think the concept of regeneration is being abused? It seems to me that every other series, the Doctor seems to just be willing to give up his regenerative energy to heal someone's broken wrist. Yeah. That whole thing about, the death doesn't mean anything in Doctor Who anymore. Like, let alone regeneration. The Doctor being dead at the end of Under the Lake or before the flood. It's like, and then, but the week before it was like, these are my final days. And it's like, oh, shit, okay, that's quite scary. And it's like, I've got to face up to my fears and die or whatever. It's like, what, the next week? You died 2 weeks ago. It's bollocks. Yeah. Absolute rubbish. And, and like Clara dies, and then he takes her to Gallifrey and he puts her in a machine. And it's like, oh, she's all right again. Well, if anybody dies in Doctor Who now, just take him to Gallifrey. It's not at the time where you go, actually, mate, you can't use this. He's like practically a deity to them now because he brought them back from the time lock. So it's like, nobody can actually die in Doctor Who without being brought back reasonably now.
It's so much fucking wank. Steve Moffat just doesn't want to kill off his characters, which is bullshit. I bloody hate it. Clara should have got fucking impaled by that bird, and that should have been the end of it. She should have come back. It's fucking bollocks. And the people who liked it, well, all right, fair enough. But I'm so pleased that there are so many people out there who went, oh, why? We said goodbye to her. And it is just like, it's like wank, wank, wank on your faces. That's what it's like. It's just like that. And it's just like for everybody. It's just like, you thought it was going to be good. Well, take that in your face, because it isn't. I mean, obviously in his head he thinks, this is so good. But, everyone else is. That's why we need this writer's room. Because any self-respecting writer would have gone, it's probably just better to leave it. Don't bring them back, because, that's a bit shit. It's more dramatic if they die. But no, apparently not. Apparently, it's more dramatic if you bring them back to life, give them a TARDIS, give them a companion, and be like, no, she's like Doctor Who. She's like going around in time, and the thing's stuck like a diner. Like, fuck off.
Two similar questions. One from Ed Jones and one from Cameron Hughes. Are you disappointed at all that we're going to have another female lead companion? And also, what do you think the likelihood is of a male companion in the distant future? To be honest, like if Chibnall gets in, that'll be like one more brain that they can pick and one new idea that they can come up with. And I think when you look back at this, you're just going to see a constant flood of like female, just the whole way along, and it's just going to get really tiring.
Yeah, I'd love to see, even if they didn't just go with like a male companion, I'd like to see a male companion join the TARDIS team who's more of a Jamie, who's sort of like the main companion, and then like the girl is sort of just like, I don't want to say a bit on the side because that sounds really sexist and horrible, but whereas in the new series it's been a lot like the main female and her boyfriend is always like the idiot boy who just like follows him around. And,
Yeah.
You know, it would be nice to have a different dynamic to that. I mean, I think it would be good if we had just a male companion. But I think I'd quite like to either see someone who was an alien or someone who was from another time, rather than just the same old modern day, oh look, modern day, oh, and she's modern day. And I don't mean, and I also don't want to see the whole, like, oh, this girl, this seemingly normal girl who works a normal job from a council estate or from, you know, suburbia, is actually the life energy of the universe, and evil aliens are trying to track them down, and or if she dies, the universe will explode because she's the impossible girl, or she's the universal woman, and the fuck off. Just another person.
We're a bunch of miserable bastards, aren't we? Jenny Fletcher.
God, just so irritating.
Jenny Fletcher asks, do you think that Series 10 will be unbearably self-congratulatory with more Moffat episodes than anyone could need? Oh my God, yeah. If they do they might do like a celebration where they go, we're going to celebrate all things great about Stephen Moffat. And then, all these classic characters from Stephen Moffat's past are going to come back, like, The Empty Child and Caroline Skinner. And all these great characters from Stephen Moffat's past are going to come back, and he's going to stand in front of a camera right at the end, and he's going to go, I'm going to go, I'm erased from Doctor Who, and then he's going to wander off, and it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be so much.
If the controller of the BBC is turning around saying, well, we couldn't bring this out the same year as some shit football and some other thing that's happening, like the Eurovision, for heaven forfend, your brains couldn't cope. Your minds would explode because, this is Stephen Moffat's last year, guys. You're going to need to strap yourselves in. It's like, I've strapped myself in and I want to get off.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's going to, the national moment isn't Doctor Who. The national moment is Stephen Moffat. That's the national moment. It's like the fucking executive producer should not be bigger than the show, in the same way that none of the cast should be bigger than the show.
And that's the thing, they always used to say that, like, the show is bigger than anyone who's involved in it. Well, fucking bloody prove it then, it's just a person moving on. All right, okay, they've done a lot for Doctor Who, but who hasn't? Dee Derbyshire did a lot for Doctor Who. Look at how they treated her. Fucking shit. Look at all the old doctors. Look at what they did for Doctor Who. And what did they do to him? Just stick him in the bloody broom cupboard and just forget about them once they've left.
Unbelievable. Stephen Moffat has said that he's asked Russell T Davies to return to write for Doctor Who after he left as showrunner. Would you be interested to see Moffat write episodes on a Chibnall's run? The further he stays away from that show, the better. So go away.
He's had his time.
That's literally all there is to say. Do you think we should have more companions from different points in time and different planets like the classic series? Absolutely, yeah. A historical companion, I think, would be the one that I really like to see the most.
Me too. That would be really, really good. And that's part of why I was sort of like, if Bill, that was like a mixture of Pearl and Bill. If Bill was from the 80s, that'd be cool. But really, the 80s isn't
it's
really
too close.
Far back enough.
It's just going to be loads of references to, what's this band called? The blah blah blah. I've got Ultravox on in my headphones. Like that's all it's going to be. It's going to get really annoying.
I got the cassette Walkman. What's that? Yeah. That's an iPhone. Yeah. Like, fucking hell. But I think someone from the 80s would probably be.
They'd be way more adaptable to like iPhones. Yeah. Whereas Jamie's look at the size of that iPhone, Doctor. Like Pearl's just going to go. It's a phone and a calculator and this thing called the internet. Like, wow, like fantastic. And why am I getting all these photographs of men's penises on this thing? I don't know. I have no idea.
That's just Jamie taking
his caveman instincts have kicked in. It's like he's got a camera on it. What's the first thing Jamie's going to take a photo of in Centre Victoria?
What do you think he wears? A kilt, Billy?
Easy access for
Tinder,
obviously.
That's what you would say. Back in my day, if we ever wanted to send a dick pic, it's just a lift that counts.
That's that. Yeah, he goes back to his tribe or whatever. He's like, "That's just the best thing I found in the future." It's like, as you ever want to take a photo of your haggis and send it to a lass in another county. What do you think of them casting Pearl Mackie, who only has limited experience on working on TV? Now that's quite interesting because the only person I can think of who was in an industry like theatre or whatever that got into Doctor Who was shit.
They were shit, were they?
Yeah, who played Mel again?
Bonnie Langford.
The only person I can think, apart from Billy Piper, who was obviously a pop singer. The only person I could think who came straight out of theatre and into Doctor Who. But I mean, I don't know how much she's done on TV, but
she was in Doctors.
Yeah, she was in that was the only reason they cast her, probably.
She's been in a program with the word doctor in it, so
she's worked with stethoscopes. The Doctor's got, was it a sonic stethoscope? Yeah, that'll be fine.
Yeah, no sonic screwdriver. I don't want any of that in Series 11. Get rid of it, please.
Yeah. Okay, that is an interesting one because a lot of the questions are all about Pearl and about Chibnall's writer's room and how happy we'll all be to see the back of Stephen. Although don't turn around and make your bald spots reflecting off the lights blinding me. Do you think Doctor Who nowadays is trying too hard to be a space opera like Star Wars or Firefly? And do you think the show is too bombastic? I don't think there's anything wrong with looking like a show like Firefly or anything, but it is like, I don't know. Yeah. It's that old thing that what's his face said. Doctor Who needs to be cheap and cheerful.
Yeah, David Maloney.
David Maloney, yeah.
That's the thing. I've heard quite a few people sort of said, I've seen before, Doctor Who needs to be more like Star Wars. And I sort of thought about this and I don't want to see Doctor Who as Star Wars because
I don't want to watch Star Wars, so I don't want to see my favourite TV show become it.
Yeah. Precisely. Well, that's the thing, it's like that's not Doctor Who. Then, if it's starting to get like Star Wars, that's not Doctor Who. Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, like you said, aesthetically, if they can make it look good, then that's not a bad thing. But I guess in terms of narrative, no, I don't want to see that because stuff like Star Wars is just like big battles and stuff. I don't really want to see just that in Doctor Who. I think that's what sets Doctor Who apart from just popcorn films to TV that you sort of have to think about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you like that? Is that right?
Yeah, that sounded fine. Yeah, that was all right. I would like a bit more Star Wars bashing, but never mind.
I like Star Wars. I'm not like you.
Whatever.
But I like Star Wars on its own merits. I don't want Star Wars, like I said, I don't like Star Wars I don't like Doctor Who Star Wars. Although saying that, I did actually my 8th Doctor stuff. That was sort of influenced by Star Wars.
Yeah, but only the space battle sort of stuff and the rebels and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I played one of them.
That was
Christ, I just remembered about that.
Yeah, you did.
I did. Yeah, there we go. See, you got it. I'm in that last series twice, aren't I?
Yeah.
I'm a radio DJ and I'm a Time Lord Rebel. Hell yeah, man. What's this one here? Do you really think that Doctor Who is actually a stellar sci-fi show? How many episodes would you count as true sci-fi if they weren't in the context of the show? Okay, that's interesting. How many episodes can you think of right now from the last 5 years that you would class honestly as like a pure sci-fi show? I think episodes like basically most Dalek episodes are sci-fi because they've got big robots in them. The thing is that they do stuff like it's got the TARDIS in it and it's got like a weird alien cat person, like the woman who lived. But the fantasy element, there's not enough sci-fi in it to not class it as like fantasy, almost pure fantasy.
The woman who lived. I forgot about that. I really forgot about that story.
Sorry.
And you just brought it back to me. Brought it back to my memory.
Triggered.
Now I know it's there. Now I know it exists. I know that I think Power of the Daleks lies in ashes somewhere, and that is out there, available to buy on DVD and Blu-ray.
If you ever meet Matt in person and you want to trigger him, just say the words "woman who lived" and his eye will start twitching.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question? I forgot.
Do you think Doctor Who is still actually a sci-fi show?
Yeah, that's tricky. Yeah, I know. Oh, I don't know. That's tricky. That is a hard one. Sorry, I'm jiggling my legs around, thinking, and I'm shaking the camera. But there's not an earthquake here, don't worry.
At least you're jiggling your leg.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess not. Actually, I guess. I don't know.
Somebody's put here on the YouTube chat, Star Wars is a fantasy more than sci-fi. Would you agree with that? I don't really know if I agree with that. I mean, I don't really know enough about it, to be honest.
I think at its core, it's probably more fantasy with sci-fi trappings, in as much as like it's at least for the original film, the very first film, episode 4. That was like it was the fairy tale story. I think if there's a because we used to do it we did it at university. There's actually a thing. This is really bad, but I can't remember this. There's actually a thing like a series of like beats, but like almost like a series of beats to the fairy tale story about like the boy who leaves his home and goes off and does this, and then there's the evil baddie, and then there's the wizard that he befriends to help him fight the baddie and rescue the princess and all this kind of thing. So I think like from a story point of view, yes, it's very fantasy, and like I guess the stuff like the Force, which is basically just like magic squiffiness, that sort of fantasy. Whereas then you've got like people in plastic white suits getting shot with laser guns and spaceships. Yeah. But I guess then Doctor Who that's sci-fi fantasy to an extent, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like classing it as fantasy purely because there isn't enough sci-fi on television anyway, and I don't really want, the only thing that I would really class as like sci-fi I wouldn't want to call it fantasy just because there'd be one less show on TV that is sci-fi.
Yeah, I mean, if someone turned around to me and said, "What's your favourite sci-fi series?" or "What's Doctor Who?" I'd say it's a sci-fi series. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a sci-fi fantasy. I think Barry Letts would say it was sci-fi fantasy. It's like
it was way more sci-fi than fantasy when he was running it. I don't know where he's getting that from.
Yeah, I don't get quite that either. Very odd. Never mind. About Barry.
I think that's really it for questions. Do you think there's been too much Scottishness in Moffat's era?
Not particularly.
Casting as Scott as his first companion, I don't really think there's. There's and as a Doctor actually.
Why are all Silurians Scottish, or why are all female Silurians Scottish? What's that about? Why is that Scottish, and why is
just one actress?
Why? That's what I want to know.
Because they don't have enough money to mould another later mask of her face.
Jeez. Oh, just give them all rubber heads like they did in the 70s. It was brilliant.
Oh yeah, that'd be way better.
I
think that's it. I think that's it. I think those are all the questions, really. The rest of them are just sort of stuff we've covered about Bill as Bill, and the writers' room. Good golly, Miss Molly. I think that's the end. Anything you want to plug or anything you want to say about videos or anything?
Anything about videos? Oh dear. Well, now is this? Oh, hang on. What do you think of the Sidemen's design recently? Oh, someone's asked about the Sidemen. Sorry. Yeah. Anything to do with videos? Is this your way of fishing into the whole script thing that got posted on Facebook the other day?
No, actually, no, it wasn't. But now you've said it. I genuinely wasn't trying to fish into anything.
Oh, right. Well,
most of the people watching this probably wouldn't know anyway.
Oh yeah, there's a thing. If you there's a
That
if you go
is
onto my
no, no,
Twitter,
no,
if you
no,
go
no,
onto
no, no.
Facebook,
Hang on. We've just spent most of this live stream taking the mick out of Stephen Moffat. You can't then speak like one of his scripts and say, "Oh, there's a thing. I've got to talk about the thing pond." You can't do that.
Okay, well, all right. There's not a thing. There's a portion of a script. I say a portion, just three lines that I released onto Facebook and to Twitter last week, and it's part of something upcoming that I'm not going to talk about. But just know that there's something on the way, something Doctor Who on the way, and it's not reviews.
That I'm not in, obviously.
No, this is
yeah, we are.
The thing, you see, there's
thing is, like, he's saying all this to you. It's news to me as well. He hasn't told me anything.
But this is the thing, because Kat and I did a video the other day, and I haven't uploaded it because I keep forgetting to put it on my external hard drive and bring it into work, because my internet to upload videos here is appalling. But in that, I actually say. There are people out there watching this who are going to be involved. You just don't know it yet. I haven't said this to you.
Well, you know, if you've watched any of my Still Bet the Moffat series, you know that I can do a great master laugh. So if you need a master in, and I can grow a goatee as well.
Yeah, so. You can grow a goatee. I'll just sort of say, like, you know, the usual suspects who have been involved with my Doctor Who, you know, maybe in the next few months.
Jonathan Toffolo confirmed.
He doesn't know anything about it. He doesn't know what's going on. I haven't told him anything about it.
No.
With a cursory thing, I might have said, "Oh, by the way,
Do you even know what you're working on?"
No, I don't. I don't know. I just wake up in the morning and then I find these things on my computer and I go, "Oh,
It's a script made by the silence. You look at it and go, "That's brilliant." It's like, "Do you want some tea?" "Yeah, that'd be great." "What's this?" "It's fantastic." 2 sugars. "Yeah, that'd be great." "Hey, what's this?"
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's a silent script.
It's a silent script. It is.
Script.
Brilliant.
Yeah. But yeah, stuff is happening.
Stuff's happening.
But it's a while away yet because I still have scripts to write.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the action figures that they're releasing or news about it on whatever? Happening?
Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, so I had an email today from Character Options saying something. I know. Saying something akin to, we know you've all been waiting for some news on Doctor Who stuff. Well, actually, they never actually said Doctor Who. Like, they never said it's a Doctor Who product, but they said, "Hi, Doctor Who fans."
The email to come through, like, "Oh my god, oh, it's a new set of Polly Pocket action figures." Shit.
Yes, Peppa Pig, you know, just what I wanted. But no, it said, "Oh, hi, Doctor Who fans." So I'm sure that it's going to be Doctor Who related. And they were like, "Oh, you know, we know you've all been waiting to find out about the new and upcoming product." It's like, what new and upcoming products? We didn't know there was anything coming out. Bar a sonic screwdriver.
Isn't there like a new repaint of like a Pertwee and a Joe?
Yeah. So that wasn't officially announced by character, but that was announced by like a vendor in America.
Right.
Who were told, "This is coming out, do you want it?" And they were like, "Yeah, all right." And that's like a box set of John Pertwee figures. So it's like the John Pertwee from Invasion of the Dinosaurs, which was meant to come out remember they did the 11 Doctors set?
Yeah.
All of them. But there's meant to be a second one of those, and it was going to be the Invasion of the Dinosaurs Pertwee. So that's now coming out in this box set, and they've repainted Joe in a Time Monster gear, and the Master's going to be in it again. So I don't know if it's going to be something like, "Oh, guess what? Certain shops, which I think is B&M stores, are going to be releasing these sets," or if it's going to be sonic screwdrivers coming out. You know, that one that got put into the telly so that we could actually make the story.
Matt, you've literally you've said it. I've been trying to keep it like stum for the whole thing.
Did I?
It's like, to be honest, it's like not as if anyone could like read between the lines and you know, like what we were saying.
What randomly appeared in Doctor Who for no reason all of a sudden?
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like the design.
No, it's horrible.
Horrible.
Looks really uncomfortable to hold.
Yeah, it's like, what is it? What's going on? I miss the old days. I miss when it was just a screwdriver.
I don't even think they know, to be honest.
I miss when it was just a little torch.
Yeah. Yeah. That's sweet.
What about you, Billy? Is there anything you want to plug? Like your different series that you've got going on over on your channel at the moment?
Well, if no one knows, I've got a YouTube account which you can find. I'd be wary about putting my name in though, because some stuff I did years ago could come up and it's really embarrassing. Just type in Garrett John, GarrettTJohn, into YouTube and it should pop up. But yeah, I've got my running series where I look back at my old Doctor Who fan films. I'm still doing that. There's a new one coming out on Monday. Yesterday I uploaded an audio-owned editorial, which was literally just I was just trying to experiment with a new format, and that seems to have gone down quite well. So I'll carry on doing those. And I just come up with a new video, which is like the weirdest, stupidest video I've ever thought of, and I'm definitely going to be doing it, which is going to be lots of fun. Although I have to learn like a really long script, which I adapt, and that's it. Like that, yeah. So hit me up on my YouTube, y'all, if you haven't seen it already. Yeah, and that's on there. And that's on there. So that's all to check out.
Yeah, I do.
Watching wrestling. So that's good.
I've really enjoyed watching your videos of you looking back over
that's nice.
Your fan films. I've not watched the most recent one.
Yeah.
But I need to go and watch that.
There's plenty more. There's like the moment I'm just looking back at the ones that are like a full series with me and my little cousin, but there are like 2 or 3 which have me as the Doctor all the way through when I was even younger, which are marvelously shit and will provide lots of laughs and much merriment for everybody watching. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, that's very good. Because it's funny because like when I was watching your videos, I sort of thought, because me and Jonathan, when we were younger, we used to do stuff like that.
I really want to see those because the only thing I've seen your old Longleat video where you and Jonathan went to Longleat.
Yeah, but I need to find a way of trying to get VHS onto.
That'd be really nice
laptop so I can upload it. But I know you laugh at your fan films, right? But your fan films actually has music in it from the TV series, whereas like our stuff was just like, oh right, we'll point the camera over there, and one of us will start like singing some music.
Oh my god, that's brilliant! Matt, you have
so like, if a Cyberman's coming, it's like dun dun dun
dun. Music.
Because we didn't have the technology. We didn't know how to do it. We couldn't even edit it. It was just like, right, we need to film a shot, and then.
I remember trying to do a title sequence with no editing software, just doing it all in camera. And I remember,
I've done that before.
My cousin just like in the corner would say, right, press play, and he'd press play on like this old website that used to have like really horrible old WAV, all still on dial-up, WAV files of like all the old theme music, and then I'd get little bits of paper, and then I'd write the Doctor Who logo. And I put it on a wall, and I get my cousin to stand on the other side of the room, and then it'd start playing. Oh look, it's the Doctor Who logo, and then it would go over to my cousin's face, and he'd be there. It's like there's the face of the sequence. Then go back along the wall. Oh my! When I used to play Doctor Who in the playground. This is before it came back, so nobody knew like what we were playing. It was.
I used to do that. I used to do that. Yeah.
And I used to get people to. It's like, oh no! Before we play, we have to do the title sequence and the theme tune, and I'd be like, everybody, put your hands like that, like a diamond, and then you go like that, like the.
That's
like the poetry sequence. You just do that for like 2 minutes, and then that's it. It's over. Oh, the fun! Right, you have to do it. You have to do it.
Yeah. I need to try and find a way. I'll look it up. I'll see if there's a way that I can just.
There's got to be.
Like plug it. It must be some way. Yeah. If anyone knows the way of how to get VHS onto my laptop,
or couldn't you like put the VHS in your TV and then link your TV to an Elgato and then capture it off of that?
Maybe. And yeah, maybe I could try that. Annoyingly, I've left because I now it's not technically mine, but I have an Elgato now. It actually works, but it's under my control. So I could always take it home and try it. I might do that.
Yeah. That's going to be loads of fun.
Oh Christ, that's just embarrassing, man. So embarrassing.
I'll tell you what, I'll do a fine, bros. I'll license you the Still Better Than Moffat series idea.
This isn't better than Moffat. This is much worse.
This is much worse. I can't imagine it'd be much worse.
Oh no, it's bad. It's really bad. I just told you that when my brother are there like singing music off camera to try and make it look like.
Yeah, but Murray Gold had choirs, like, you know, whatever. Anyway, look, I think that we've got to leave it on that. That's got to happen. That's got to happen.
Yeah.
Now
you just want to see my dad dressed up as a Cyberman.
Absolutely, I do. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then my dad, bless him, getting covered in shaving foam, where like he's been attacked in the chest as a Cyberman. Shaving foam.
Hang on, who is the doctor? Who is the doctor?
This is the thing. We both were the doctor.
So it was two doctors traveling together.
So it was like Sylvester McCoy. He was Sylvester McCoy, obviously.
Right.
And I don't know. I always changed because I was just like, oh.
How old were you?
I was probably about. I don't know. Well, some of them we recorded like just as the new series started. That was 2005. So I was probably about 13 then.
Wow.
Even more tragic. But I think some of them I must have been like 11 or 12.
Cool.
So I was quite young. I mean, Jonathan was in his 20s. He should have known better.
Yes.
Wasn't yes. You know, he's 9 years older than me. What is a 20-year-old? He was at university. What the fuck was this 20-year-old man doing out in the back garden with his like then 50-year-old dad dressed as a Cyberman?
That just took on a whole other dimension.
Oh, wow. Bless him.
That has got to happen.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll have to try and fish them out. We went on holiday once. We went to a caravan and we were out in the woods because there were like lots of woods nearby. And we took our costumes and we just on location filming. You know,
yeah.
That was the budget we had. It was pretty expensive stuff.
Sure.
And my brother was so embarrassed if anyone saw him just as Sylvester McCoy. So we were like, I think it was like a day where it had been raining. And it stopped raining. We were like, right, no one's going to come out now, so we can go down into the woods and film this stuff. And I was being Christopher Eccleston at the time.
Shit, that's quite a revelation.
Yeah, that's quite different. Quite different from me. And I forgot my black shoes and I'd only brought trainers. So my uncle, who was with us at the time, said, "I've got an idea to make it look like you've got a pair of black shoes. Put your trainers on and then put a pair of socks." And then my older brother, when he would come home from Spain and come and visit us, we'd be like, "Oh, you've got to see this new video that we've done," because we knew he'd just wet himself. And he would be like watching it like, "Are you wearing slippers?"
I've got a bit of a embarrassing story about shoes. Even more embarrassing. Okay. I used to be a choir boy.
Okay, that's fair enough.
And
I was in choirs.
Yeah. Okay. And
I sense that it's going to get worse.
Yeah. Basically, like, so I had a pair of like bright white like trainers that I had to wear. Anyway, it was like my first day at choir. I only went to the choir because if you went to the choir, you were involved in a church. It was way more likely that you would get into this school. And I wasn't religious. My parents aren't religious. I'm not religious anymore. And it's like, right, fine, let's go to church then. Like, you know, we try and like sneakily get in. Anyway, so my first day at choir, I got these bright white trainers on. Mum goes, you cannot wear those. So for the next hour, she gets a black marker pen and she spends an hour colouring my white trainers in black. And
my God!
I go to choir with these white trainers covered in Sharpie. It obviously gets quite hot there, and I've got my head over my shoes, which means that the toxicity of my trainers, the ink, starts making me go a bit fuzzy, and I get a headache. And
it's like Tom Baker with the Frankenstein.
If that's not the most wonderfully working class story ever, I don't know what is. That is me all over. That's gorgeous.
We get the floor in real shoes, so we have to come on in.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Well, let's stop digging into my poverty. Let's end the stream here, I think.
Amazing. This is good fun. Well, thank you very much for watching, everybody. As ever, this will be up on the channel once we've pressed stop, once it processes. So if you've missed it, or if you've only come in at the end, you can go back and enjoy all the other bits and pieces that we've talked about.
We talked about Jamie McCrimmon's penis. We talked about all sorts. I mean, if you don't need any more of an advert to watch the rest of the show.
I know. Why do we not get much? Why don't we get more exposure? Nowhere else on the internet can you find a Doctor Who podcasting thing where they talk about Jamie McCrimmon's penis.
No, nowhere else.
And if you can find one for me, well, I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know. Not for that reason, but I just imagine there would be anywhere else.
Fanfiction.
Well, I quite like yours. I quite like your fanfiction about Jamie going back to his tribe.
Oh yeah. I thought you just insinuated that I wrote it for a second. Then Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know what you do.
Yeah.
Under cover of darkness, you're there.
Sorry, everybody. I'm one of them.
One of those. Okay, so thank you very much for watching, guys. It's good night from me.
It's good night from him.
And we shall see you again soon. Well, actually, we'll see you again whenever they give us any Doctor Who to talk about, because it's not really about.
See you in 29 months.
And I see you at Christmas for us to moon and just go.
Oh yeah, well we'll shoot some videos in the summer.
Oh yeah, of course we will. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. No, we'll be shooting some more stuff. Yeah, we've got stuff to do. Things to do. Things to do. Right. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye-bye.
See ya.